G'day guys, we have some massive games coming up this weekend with our championship men with Hume hosting Wyndham here in a second chance opportunity. Wyndham obviously had that week off round one and it was awesome to see them go and support the youth league men on the Sunday, but they will be coming up at home on Sunday against Hume, and we have some very interesting and talented and experience and physical matchups here, Mark, don't we?
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper game, Ted. Hume, who was sitting on top for much part of the early season, and then obviously dropped some games middle to late in the year, and Wyndham have just gone from strength to strength, starting a bit shaky in the first half of the year, which is where they probably picked up most of their losses. But the back end of the year, they've been the Wyndham that we've come to know, led by none other than Maurice Howard, who's an absolute star. I think if the game from the weekend that Hume played is anything to go by, I expect Chris Elder will get that matchup and will face guard Maurice Howard to try and limit his touches all game.
Yeah, look, I would probably expect the same or think something very different. Something very similar. Apologies, something very similar. But I mean, Maurice Howard is just so crafty and smart that his first step is so erratic and physical and intense that he'll just find a way anyways. But even then, like Kevion Green can probably run the point to some extent. Downey could probably come and help, and Maurice Howard can then just play off the ball and just roam sort of and find himself with the ball at the end of the plays.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup because I don't think there's been too many teams this year who've slowed Maurice Howard down, and I think that's been much the key to their success. But I fully anticipate Kevion Green, who's the Wyndham defensive specialist. He'll go to Hume Star and Troyce Manassa. This is a perfect matchup. Both I kind of refer to Troyce as like a mini LeBron. He's strong unit. He can do everything. He shoots the ball pretty well. He gets to the rim really well. He can pass. He can defend. He does the work. So him and Kevion Green going head to head. That is going to be some really exciting basketball.
Yeah, it really will, and I'm super excited to see. I'm also excited to see what Corey Fittis will be able to do in a performance like this in such a massive stage, and someone who's really cool, calm, and collected when it comes to these sort of things. He's not really out there with his expression and everything. He sort of keeps it close to his chest. He goes about his business. He boxes out and he goes get rebounds. He doesn't do anything outrageous, but what he does is so important for this Hume team. He's really just like the glue.
Yeah, and he's slotted himself in the. He started the year coming off the bench, but he slotted himself into a starting role in a really effectively an automatic double every week. So no doubt he'll be really impressive this week, and that's going to be a real good matchup. And then we look at the other game in Championship Men, and we see Sunbury will play host to McKinnon. McKinnon beating Keysborough last week, and Sunbury not being able to get it done against Hume. And I mean, there's been a couple of times these teams have gone head to head this year. I believe they might be one apiece off the top of my head, Ted. But Mitch Barry both times has gone to Ish Sanders. First time, really good job, kept Ish quiet. McKinnon win. Second time, wasn't able to have the same effect, and Sunbury win.
So what you're saying is whoever sort of wins this one-on-one battle is going to sort of weigh the outcome here a little bit.
I think so. Now, I could have that the wrong way around, but I think this is going to be a really important matchup. We know Ish Sanders is Sunbury's main offensive option 100% of the time. And if they can, I guess for Sunbury, they just need to keep the ball moving through hands to be able to keep getting some high percentage shots for all their guys. It's when it becomes a bit stagnant, just that high on ball, it becomes a little bit predictable, and I think that's sort of hurt them a little bit against Hume.
Yeah, well, you did say that Ish is that primary scorer and prolific scorer in this league, but he's going to have to do something quite intense on both sides of the court, like we did. So Mitch Barry is probably going to take Ish Sanders, which means Sharif Black is probably going to take Marshall.
Yep.
But then you twist it around, like Ish is going to probably play on Sharif Black.
Yeah, potentially, which means Ish is getting a full-on workout for 40 minutes.
He is.
There is the chance that Marshall runs around with Sharif Black, uses extra length to maybe challenge and alter shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sharif Black is currently on a scoring tear the last few weeks since returning from injury, and 35 against Keysborough, and they threw everything at him. So once again, Sunbury are going to be up against it.
Yeah, I know, and I think it'll be interesting how these sort of second and third strings go. Max Barkley and Davis are two prolific shooters,
Yep.
respectively in their own team, and in the league as a whole. To be honest, so Max Barkley didn't have an amazing shooting performance in the weekend just gone. Davis is very consistent in how he scores the ball. So I think these two are going to have massive, massive effects in the outcome of this game. Either one's going to go off or they'll both go off, but it's just how they go about it. I think it's going to be really important.
Yeah, that extra cog's super important for both teams. And we move on to the Division 1 men. We got RMIT host Pakenham to try and qualify for the grand final, where Shepparton will be waiting for the winner.
Yep.
RMIT, we know they've got 4 really, really impressive high-level pieces in their team, starting with none other than Steve Coffey. Then we got Daniel Steve, Lou Agon, I'll call him. I apologise if I pronounce that wrong. And then Matthew Spencer, who went on a bit of a hiatus mid-year. I believe he might have been overseas or injured, but has come back and played some really impressive basketball.
Yeah, he has, and we can't really sell Pakenham short because they've got some fantastic pieces and they play a really good systematic type of basketball where if someone's got a hot hand, they continue to feed it. But if not, they play a really, really good, fast-paced team first style of basketball, and it really flourishes because they get around each other so well. The bench is constantly up and down, cheering and everything like that. They get in their huddles and they're smart about what they talk about. So, I think this will be really important for Pakenham in how, not so much how they score the ball, but how they limit RMIT's ability to score, where they pressure their shot contest and make everything difficult to then allow their offense to flow.
Yeah, it's a key. You need somebody to slow down, or really you need the whole team to try and slow down Steve Coffey's influence, and you need to limit RMIT's transition.
Yep.
You don't want to let them get out on the run because they're a team which doesn't mind a little bit of excitement when they get going.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're spot on with Pakenham. Their camaraderie is brilliant, led by Josh Dow and Joe Davis. This is going to be a huge game.
Yeah, safe to say watching the RMIT Shepparton game film will be super important for both teams to see how RMIT can fix what they struggled with of their scoring power, but also how Pakenham can watch how Shepparton sort of kept them to such a low score.
100%. Let's move on to the Division 2 men to finish off, and we've got Whittlesea, who were upset last week by Altona, hosting Wallen in what is somewhat of a rivalry between two fairly local teams. This is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat Green is going to do what we expect. To be honest, he's so calm, cool and collected. He won't really turn the ball over that much. He'll score when he needs to. He'll facilitate to Evans and Dirks when they're open, and he'll just do his thing. But Bruno might sort of have that task. We're not entirely sure there, but it's probably sort of that sort of like for like position, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Bruno's not necessarily known for his defense.
No.
But he can, I imagine, have the capability of being a pest, which, as a former small guard, it's can cause a whole lot of disruption if you're just annoying the opposition's main key piece and main key facilitator. That can go a long way for Wallen, as I imagine Tyler Best and Gabe Evans will probably go head to head.
I think so.
I think that'll probably be the matchup on a wing. Gabe Evans has been enormous and a real big surprise packet since coming from Shepparton last year. He's moved to Melbourne.
Yep.
And he's been brilliant. And we probably shouldn't sell Tyler Best short either because he's equally as important for his Panthers boys.
Yeah, 100%. I think a big thing for Wallen especially is going to be the shot quality that they take consistently throughout the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're known to sort of rush their opportunities and try and score early in the shot clock, even though it's a half-court set as opposed to a transition basket. So I think the quality of shots that they get across the 4 quarters, I think is going to be extremely important for this Wallen Panthers group.
Yeah, and I expect them to play through the post a fair bit with Lalaman to start to come into some really good form late in the season here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, that'll be all for us. A massive week to come for basketball. We got grand finals next week and the week after. So keep it locked. We got some big elimination games here.